Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mike Green. This time we're going to be talking about bottom replacement. So this is a multi-part series on replacing a bottom on an antique wooden boat. This part one is bottom removal. Hopefully this is helpful, and let's get started. So welcome back, everybody. I wanted to show you some progress that we've made on the boat. The guys have gotten the planks taken off, the inner bottom. I want to just go through with you a little bit of how these boats were constructed. So Chris-Craft had a double bottom, which means that they've got planking on the outside of the bottom, and then on the inside of the bottom they have inner planking. And so that's at about a 45-degree angle, and in between is sandwiched with canvas, which you can see just a little bit of the canvas that's been left over. We've cleaned it all up, but here's a piece of that canvas. And underneath the canvas and the inner bottom, you have like this dolphinite material, this putty almost, and they laid that on there, and then they laid this canvas on top of that. And so that is the reason that they did that, is because they didn't want that formula to just wash away. And so after that, then they would build the planks and put the planks in, and that would be bedded over the top of the canvas with that bedding compound underneath. And that's really what made these boats last so long and be pretty much, in the beginning of their life, they would be a no-soak bottom. We do bottoms a little bit differently. We use this traditional method of how they built the bottoms, which I find is very important. There is, some people do a 5200 bottom, but it's not a traditional 5200 bottom. And in another video, I'll go through all that, or what they call an epoxy bottom or a West system bottom using plywood. So there's a couple different variations. My theory on that is the people who designed and built these boats, whether it is a Chris-Craft or a Garwood or a Hacker, they knew a little bit more than I did. And so I think that to do it justice and to give it honor to the builder, we should put it back the way it was. So we're just going to use this sander with some 80 grit on it. We're going to expose the areas that we need to remove the screws. This bottom was put on with just putty inside the screw holes. So there's not really a wooden plug in there, it's just the putty. And so we're using this sander on a vacuum, and we're just gonna eat away at that bottom paint. That bottom paint on this boat originally was red, and you can see the evidence of red bottom paint while we're taking this bronze copper. Somebody put bronze copper over the top of it. But you know, look for that evidence on your boat when you're doing it. Was the bottom green? Was it red? You know, you can usually tell. The evidence is there. So, you know, you expose all that you can, and we're gonna spin out the screws now using a plug cutter. This is a 3/8 plug cutter, one of our old ones that I've resharpened and that we use just to go over the top right in the middle of where the putty is, the filler is, and just spin that out and take some of that material away, and a lot of that putty will just come right out of there. Take the vacuum, very important, right after. Before you start picking, make sure you clean up the excess, and it'll pull some of that putty right out of there. Now these are straight slot screws. Some of them are Breeden Prince in later boats. This is a pre-war boat, so it has straight slots in it. And you can see a lot of that straight slot, that material out of the straight slots is gone already. So that's makes it easier. That's why we vacuum afterwards. So after that, we'll remove all the screws and then remove these planks, and they should come right out. But just make sure that you go through areas, if it's being stubborn, that you look for screws that you may have not gotten before. So these inner bottoms are pretty easy to remove. You would just pry up on them. They're held in by nails, just regular nails. And so it's pretty easy to get them off. So what we do then is we remove the whole inner bottom. We want to save what these are called intermediate frames. We want to save these just because we want to know the distance that they need to be, the length that they need to be, I mean. So we just kind of set those in there, when we remove the inner bottom. And then we'll come back and we'll number these and we'll save them. Now really you only need to save one side. You don't need to save both sides. So what we did here is we picked the best side. There were some repairs on this side. There were some short planks in here, and there was a repair over here. And so we're not going to use this side as a pattern. We're going to use the other side. I wanted to show you the inner bottom and how that was constructed. This boat's a little bit different because it is a stepped hull. So there's almost 2 sections to this bottom. Which is going to be pretty easy when we go to make planks because we're not dealing with super long planks. These planks that are in the bottom are pretty straight and pretty, evened edge. And so, you're just going to be making individual planks. And then you're just going to figure out the arc. So I hope that was helpful for you. The next one we're going to be doing is on frame replacement. So make sure you watch that. And what this series is going to be about is from the beginning to the end to replacing the bottom. So we're going to start off with bottom removal, what you just saw. Then we're going to go into frame replacements. Then we're going to go into prepping that bottom for new inner bottom planking and what that looks like. And then we'll make some bottom planks. And then eventually we'll tie it all together. So stay tuned. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button. And then the bell to make sure that you're notified for upcoming videos. So till next time, see ya, take care, bye.